Have you ever left a feedback conversation and wondered what just happened? Did it go off the rails and end up in a heated argument? There's definitely a skill needed to give and receive effective feedback. Today, I'm going to give you 5 tips to giving and receiving feedback that you can use to make feedback more effective and impactful. Hello world, it's Rico. Giving and receiving feedback is such a crucial part of personal development, but also the growth and development of the people around you. It could be peers, your team members, and even giving feedback up to your leaders. This is how we all get better and ensure that unproductive actions or behaviors don't bring down the culture or the success of the team. So we're going to discuss the following acronym I use to help me face my feedback fears. And it is, you guessed it, FEARS, fears. F, focus on the future, don't dwell on the past. E, exercise empathy. A, always actionable. R, rehearse and repeat. And S, stick to specifics. So for F, focus on the future. Although the feedback you're giving is rooted in past events, you want to always focus on how to improve the behavior and the situation in the future. You cannot go back into the past and change what happened, but you can work together to ensure that it doesn't happen again and that you're successful together in the future. The more you rehash or dwell on the past, the more the negative discussion can become. Focus on the future. E, exercise empathy. Receiving feedback is just as hard as giving feedback. Imagine switching places with your colleague and think about how they may be feeling in that moment. Your message and your feedback will be more likely to land if they feel you're understanding and coming from a place of empathy. Let them know that you're giving this feedback so you can continue to be successful in the future together. One trick I always use is to think about how I would want to be given this same feedback and how I would react. It always helps me understand the best tone and approach because that is how I would want to be treated. A, always actionable. You want to be sure you're giving feedback that is actionable. It should be based on a pattern of behavior that needs to be addressed. You should work with that person to understand the impact of the behavior, but then also understand what actions to take to help improve the behavior. The worst thing is feedback that has no actionable steps. It starts to feel more like a personal attack or that you're just complaining about someone's behavior that you maybe don't like. Make sure that the recipient has actionable next steps to improve a specific behavior. R, rehearse and repeat. It's important that you actually rehearse the conversation. It may not go the way you expect it to, so you may need to make sure you have all of your facts, examples, and empathetic language down. The recipient may respond in a way that you're not expecting, so having rehearsed and repeated your feedback, it'll help you stay on track. Always be as prepared as you can, since you can't always predict how someone will respond. Lastly, S, stick to specifics. Don't give vague feedback. Use as many specific examples as possible. Make sure you're being direct in your language. Don't beat around the bush or sugarcoat. Speak to the exact examples and the issues that behavior has created. If you aren't specific and you speak in generalities, the feedback likely won't land and the recipient won't know how to action or correct the behavior. Being vague also leads to a lot of skepticism. If you can't give specific examples, the recipient may not believe you or won't truly understand what the feedback is. Don't leave room for misinterpretation. Bonus tip, allow for discussion. Make sure you leave enough time for questions and discussion. Recipients may want to ask for some clarity and to dive a little deeper into specific examples or pieces you provided. If you only give yourself 5 minutes to give feedback, it's not fair to the recipient that they can't respond or clarify. Don't give feedback or ask for feedback unless you've provided enough time for a thoughtful response. One of my biggest pet peeves is the last 5 minutes of a one-on-one saying, what feedback do you have for me? That doesn't give either of us enough time to give a thoughtful response. So those are the tips for how to give constructive feedback. If you want to learn more about a framework for giving feedback and how to potentially approach 360 feedback in your organization, check out this video. This framework will help experienced and inexperienced people give meaningful and actionable feedback. Thanks all, and I'll see you next time.